hello, my disco friends, my gardening souls. How is everyone doing today? Here in Middle Tennessee, it is hot and sunny with a little bit of humidity. Hopefully I can get through this video without needing the proverbial ice pack. Yes, I carry an ice pack so that I can put my phone in there to cool it down. I also have hydration. Very important when you're out in the garden looking around. Now, I won't be doing any work while I'm out here, but I figured I would give you a little update tour of what's going on. We've had some changes this past week since the last time we touched base. We have some upcoming projects as a result of some of those changes. And so I thought I would just take you on a little tour. We can hang, we can catch up, so to speak. Now, as I said before, this is our crowning jewel this year. Absolutely in love with what has amassed here. I mean, look at this. Look at that. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And it's still not in full bloom, but she really is starting to set. All kinds of things going on. We got some bachelor buttons. We've got some California poppies. We've got all kinds of stuff. Zinnias. Now, we did not use a specific native Tennessee wildflower mix. And yes, I did get a lot of flack for that, but that's okay. I learned, I grew from it, I'm inspired, but we still love what we have growing on this year. That's for sure. All right, so I'm gonna start over in our tomato lounge area. Look at that. It has really done exactly what we wanted. Here, I'll take you on a little tour on the inside. Look at that. This actually has really inspired us to potentially make a tomato house next year. Like a little area where we can actually stand up in it and it's just covered in tomatoes. I think that would be so cool. But at any rate, so we have our peppers. They are looking rough because of the sun. These are our bajos, and they are starting to change some of their color. I don't know if you can see that, but they're starting to change some of their color. We've pulled some, and we are looking to begin the smoking process with them. Hopefully coming up very soon. Right next to that, we have our tomatillo, which for me, tomatillos have been difficult to be able to grow in past years. I think I've talked about that before, but this year I can successfully say things are a-changing. Yes, sirree, we've got tomatillos growing, and it's so exciting. It's so exciting, and they are actually growing right next to some of our purple Cherokees, which is also finally starting to do something that looks promising. So all good things on this side. I mean, really all good things everywhere, because besides these peppers, which, I mean, some of them are looking ragged, some of them are fruiting fine. But besides all that, our cherries, our honeycomb cherry tomatoes, which are our favorites, and really they're the rage. Like, everyone at Nick's work wanted us to grow these again. They're just absolutely outstanding. We've been picking them non-stop, and we did rock, paper, scissors to see who would get the first one. I got the first one, but I shared because that's just who I am. Oh, like candy. It's so good. So good. You want to grow a really good cherry tomato, honeycombs are the way to go. All right, so over here, same old, same old. We are starting to get some more growth on some of the seedlings that I put in here, which was calendula. But I know full well that this bed's going to be kind of a work in progress. We're planning to move these back there come this fall, put the height in the back. because the hollyhocks, which were our height, got removed, and then reimagine this whole area. Now, I do like to do a lot of perennials that are either medicinal or food, or can be used as food, like borage, like nasturtium, like echinacea, salvias, all up in this area. I think we're going to continue that. Obviously, we've got some lavender in there. I want to keep up with that mojo. And then obviously zinnias, because chef's kiss on zinnias. They just add such whimsy to the garden. All right, so we come over here. Our tomatoes, our San Marizanos are looking fabuloso. Not seeing any color change yet, but this baby is loaded. I mean, I've never seen one this big before, if I'm just being honest. So we're really excited about that. It is putting on some growth. I don't think it's going to get over the tunnel. I don't know. I could be wrong, but still, it's fun. You know, it's fun. Okay, so first heartbreak of the season is our cucumbers. So we did a trimming that was recommended by Paw Ridge on Instagram, and by all means, that guy is a top-notch grower. But I did the pruning on the cucumbers like he stated, and I think because of where we're at, the heat just got it and really just crushed them. Made them look horrible. They stopped growing. So we ended up making the decision, mainly because we've got some quote-unquote bush beans that actually seem like they're more like a runner bean. We just called it. We took out the cucumbers and decided to start trellising our beans, which are doing fabulous, by the way. You can see they're really starting to plump up. Trellis that onto there to just kind of use that space. You know, gave up on the cucumbers for this year, but that's okay. Sometimes that just happens. That just happens, and that's okay. Which leads me to this bed. Our second kind of rough and tumble of the season. So first and foremost, peppers, they're doing fine. We did a couple pulls on our onions. They're looking gorgeous. We've been testing some of our peppers. They're hot as hell. This is our hotbed. So everything's working really good over here. Nothing to report. Over here, which is what we call our doggy gourmet bed, typically has our long beans, which, as you can see, are looking fabulous. Look at that thing. Look at that thing. And that thing's just getting started, baby. This thing's bringing all the pollinators to the yard, good, bad, indifferent. I mean, it is just loaded all the time. Beautiful flower sets in the morning. Absolutely love it. We've got our sorrel and our lovage, and that too is doing amazing. But we did have to pull all of our carrots from this bed. Every single one. And that's mainly because we pulled a couple and we noticed either cracking or aphid damage, or really just crowding, which crowding we're used to at this point. Cracking we think was because of some heavy rain that we got there for a while, that then led into some dryness, even though we irrigate. But the aphids, was not expecting that one. And so that was a nice new learning situation. So we pulled them all just to see what we could get out of it. I think we got about 30% of the bed. That's okay. A lot of times I like carrots, and you'll see from this other bed, I like carrots just as a living, like a living mulch. So knowing full well that I'm going to lose some of them. But I still was not expecting quite what we saw when it happened. Now, you can wash the aphids off, but in some of our cases, the cracking was leading to the carrots rotting, which was then leading to the aphids eating on it even more. So it was kind of like a waste, you know, and it is what it is, but that's okay. That's okay. So on this side, we've got our tea bush. That's looking great. We've got our watermelon, which is now starting to trail outside the bed. We shall see how that all plays out, which is fine. But we are starting to see some significant progress on our spinach that we are saving for seeds. So I'm really excited to get this pulled sooner rather than later, but I'm waiting for it to fully brown up so that I ensure that those seeds are ready to go. And seed saving has been one of my things this year that I've been really trying to elevate my skills in, just learn a little bit more, just for that sustainability practice. We had such great results with saving our garlic and using it to reseed this past fall that it's like, I want to do that with as much as I can in the garden. And so the spinach is kind of one of those experiments. So I moved back over to here. These were our 2 garlic beds, which we pulled a couple weeks ago. They are drying and looking fabulous. But I did want to show you what we have because we are now starting to get some growth in here. So we've got our beans that are finally starting to pop up. I believe this is black beans on this side. And then we've got some chard that's starting to also come up, which is really great to see because, you know, it's been so hot out here that it's really hard to tell if seeds are taking or not, especially when you do kind of that next rotation, seasonal rotation once you pull something out of the bed. That leads me to a project that we have coming up, and I'm going to try and stand in a shadier spot so my phone doesn't overheat too much. But the next project that is on the docket, we're just waiting for some of the parts to come in. I think we still need to buy a couple things, but we are going to be putting up a shade cloth over mainly in this 6-bed area. I think it's 10 by 20. We're going to give that a go. I saw a girl on Instagram give her recommendations on what works in her garden. She lives in Texas, so we're going to give it a shot as well. I know Nick's been wanting to do it for years. I always thought it was going to be a huge investment. I always thought that we could get away without it, but the past couple of weeks I'm like, you know, let's look this up. We looked it up. I think the whole bill minus the T-post came to like under $50. So we're just kind of like, let's give it a shot. So we're just waiting on the stuff to come. I think it should be coming tomorrow, and then we gotta get some T-posts. Let's talk about this bed. This bed's doing really well. As you can see, we've got our carrots in here. We've test pulled a couple carrots over here, and no aphids up to this point. No cracking up to this point. So I'm not quite sure what happened in that bed, but we're leaving these carrots to kind of grow a little bit so that they're a little bit more mature. Obviously, we've got our dill that has bolted. I'm just leaving it for now. I did take the seed heads off because, well, I'm trying to save seeds. Our cowpeas are doing amazing. They are just looking like they always look. They are putting on beans everywhere. They're just doing their thing, and they're doing fabulous, as well as our peppers that are in here, which are just absolutely loaded. Just loaded. I mean, look at that. There's not even like a single spot where you don't see peppers. All right, let's see. What else? Where else could we go in the garden? Let's go down here. Let's go down here. All right, so got something in my sandal. Real quick, because I noticed this yesterday. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but so back in the day, us hippies used to call this the hippie tan. And I haven't had one of these since my college days, when I was a bit more of a hippie. You know, I kind of turned into a yippie there for a while, or whatever that term is. But I'm coming back to my hippie roots, and I'm loving every minute of it, that's for sure. Anyway, so yes, so this bed's actually doing really, really well from a planting perspective. A lot more beans have germinated. A lot more chard has germinated. We even have the proverbial, and it's hard for me to reach, Bermuda grass. I can't get it. Dang it. Anyway, so our bay laurel's finally starting to kind of do its thing. I'm just letting it kind of recover from whatever happened to it being in the garage over the winter. So I'm just letting it do its thing. I will probably start harvesting both from the bay laurel and the tea bush soon, just so I can get some stuff out of it. And I think this little dude, I don't know if you're catching him on camera. I think that is an assassin beetle, which I'm not a fan of. Anyway, so this bed has become my flop bed. I've planted it twice now. And I don't really know what's going on. It's supposed to be parsnips and salsify. I was really excited about both of those. I'm just not really, what is going on above me? I guess I got some dragonflies. Oh, he like almost came right up on me. How cute. Anyway, man, look how cute they are. Okay, I digress. So we've planted, we're not getting anything. Green onions I've planted, and these are from like the spring. Like when I had other stuff in here, that's from them. But nothing new has actually grown in here. Broccoli's slowly coming to an end. It is getting some worm damage at this point. I just cut the leaves off or take the worms off. But we're really not getting any more broccoli either. It's kind of towards the end of its life cycle. And that's okay. This has inspired us though to do more broccoli, because eating those first little these little firefly or dragonflies are really cool. Look, what is on him? Looks like he's got like a backpack or something. Anyway, medicine bed. Look at this. Look how beautiful. Now I let it all go to seed. People are gonna roast me. That's okay. I'm happy with how my garden's growing. Hopefully you find the delight in it. Not everyone's perfect. Not everyone grows the same stuff. But medicine beds have really come in. They look gorgeous. I mean, look at that. And there's food in there with the purslane, which is great spinach substitute. I think I've mentioned that before. Tons of yarrow. Yarrow's been one that I've been collecting seeds on as of this past week. There is some lemon balm in here, which I need to start harvesting. Some rose mint, which has definitely gone to seed. It's got a beautiful little flower spike. Got to start harvesting and drying some of that as well. But I have been really, really impressed with that medicine bed. I can't say enough about it. And then we move on to our other medicine bed, which has like in the past like maybe week or two has really taken off. We've got our heel all right here. We've got our toothache, which is starting to put on flowers. I've been plucking these to dry them out. We've got some chamomile, which I've been plucking chamomile flowers off of a plant that's over there. But the chamomile is doing amazing. We've got our marshmallow, which is, these are the smaller marshmallow. These are the larger ones, and they're finally put on some blooms. And wow, just beautiful. Just beautiful. I love that little bloom. Look at that thing. They are a member of the hollyhock family, and we are experiencing some of the same stuff that we experienced with our hollyhocks, which is rust, but I'm not pulling this one. It can live with the rust so long as it does what it needs to do. We've got our horehound here, which is looking absolutely gorgeous. We've got our fenugreek, which is a great spiritual plant. I think it's for protection, but we are trying to get some of the seed pods, obviously, to make a spice. And then we have our specialty dandelion right here, which has not put on a bloom yet, but is growing, and it's growing quite well. So very excited about that. And then we move over to here to what ended up being like the trap crop of the garden. We had pumpkins in here. Pumpkins were looking beautiful, just spilling out everywhere, and flowers everywhere, and it was just gorgeous, but it just, the bugs, I mean, it still they are still doing what they do best, which is lay the dang eggs and just scurry about. And the cucumber beetles, I mean, it's a hot mess. Not to mention we're seeing a lot of dieback, so I'm just cutting at this point, because quite honestly, I don't even care about the pumpkins. We're literally just leaving any little remnants of the pumpkins for baiting, you know, just so it stays away from some of our other crops. But what is finally going to town in here are our teddy bear sunflowers. And I'll tell you what, this has been one of the best companion plants that I've planted in a bed in a long time. That's just so much fun. Like, I was not anticipating whatsoever. A lot of people say you can't grow other things around your crops when it comes to sunflowers, and that's just not true. I mean, certainly it does put off a chemical that does prevent some of that, but it's not 100% across the board. Now, do I think it took out the pumpkins? Honestly, I don't think so. I think bugs took out our pumpkins. But as the pumpkins are kind of leaving the equation, so to speak, the sunflowers are just coming in, and the teddy bear are just amazing. I did a little floral arrangement the other day. Matter of fact, I put up a really cool stop motion Instagram post or reel, putting that bouquet together, and kind of like a wildflower tribute gift thank you to everyone that's been following along on this journey on Instagram. And the teddy bear was one of those flowers I put in there, and it's, oh my God, it's gorgeous. Like, it's so gorgeous. I went out and bought more seeds today so that I could find other pockets in my garden, and before it turns into July, get those seeds in and see if I can, go to town with them. Borage over here, this is a volunteer borage, and it is just thriving like no tomorrow. This is the chamomile that we've been plucking, which I'll come back out tonight and take some of these off. I have never been able to get chamomile to this stage, so this is this makes me happy. This makes me feel like the tides are turning. The tomatillos is another one where I'm like, wow, I am really coming to terms with some of my gardening challenges that I've had in previous years. I'm making the turn. Obviously I'm running into new stuff. Like, we never had problems with our cucumbers or our carrots before. So as one thing gets easier, another thing gets more challenging. At any rate, butternut squash is doing fabulous. This is our first year ever growing it. I think it's doing so well because a lot of the pumpkin was taking a lot of the insects. But we are getting some really amazing looking fruit sets on here. It's loaded already at this point in the game. Very happy with it. I also sprinkled in some beans to kind of fill in this bottom layer. We'll see how that goes. There were turnips down there. When turnips finished, they finished, but I wanted to at least put something in with it, Okay, so we're back. My phone overheated. I had to give it time to cool down. It's so frustrating. Anyway, where was I? I think I was on the butternut squash. So yes, butternut squash doing really well. Beans on the bottom to replace the turnips. I think I've already talked about all that. So I'm going to move on beyond that. We're still waiting on these dang mustard seeds. It's starting to look a little bit more ragged now, I'll say that much. Not as pretty as it was, but we want that mustard in a bad, bad, bad way. And the little pods, they are getting fat. They're getting fat. It's going to be so exciting. I'm really excited about this one. This one has just been a dream. Yes, so really this side of the garden is just kind of homeostasis. Like, we're waiting on the grapes to kind of ripen up, and that takes some time. They look great though. A lot of our herb beds are just chilling. I'm thinking about possibly trying to mix in some late flowers here to see if I can fill some little nooks. We'll see if the weather allows for that. This strawberry bed, total flop this year. These are June berries. They did not flower at all. They obviously need to be thinned. What's crazy is it is a vigorous grower, because this was just one plant and it's almost filled up this whole bed. And no flowers on that one either. But we did get a whole bunch of strawberries to start seeding underneath of our blueberries, as well as what I call the candy shop. And those strawberries are actually looking really good. Like, size-wise, they actually look like strawberries. Now this one looks a little bit rotty. And that's okay. That happens. Same with that one. But I am noticing over here, like, look at that. Like, that one might actually be ready. Let's give that one a pull and see. Wow. That's really good. So the candy shop has definitely been performing really, really well. And I'm hoping as time goes on, we can get these to continue to just really be absolutely amazing. Blackberries I've been harvesting nonstop, like every day, and it's even putting on more blooms, which just is so crazy to me. Like, here's one that's ready. Here's one that's ready. It's small. I have been getting some big Berthas, but not all of them are big Berthas. It's good. It's good. But this is in its peak season right now. So like I said, I've been just picking away. Every morning, that's one of my morning chores, is to come out and pick some blackberries. Raspberries are slowing down. They seem like they're done for the season, but then likewise, I'm noticing new fruit get set. So I'm not really sure what that means, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I love my raspberries, whatever variety this is, and I'm gonna have to go back and look at the plant tag. I think I saved it from a couple years back. See what variety this is, because whoa boy, when they are ripe, talk about some candy. These things are what like a raspberry should be. They are just absolutely amazing. This is, I think, a year 2 grow on these. Last year we didn't really get anything, didn't even really get any growth. This year we're definitely noticing an explosion of not just getting fruit, but also on new canes for next year. Very excited about this. I really would like to, when we build out the new berry orchard, include this variety in there. It's thornless. The fruit is just absolutely amazing. Let's see what else. So lettuce, we're also saving for the seeds, and she's coming along, and I noticed this right here, which means that we're close. We are getting close to being able to harvest what we have going on right here, and that will be a first for me. I've never harvested lettuce seeds before. I've never even grown a lettuce plant to this height. I think the last time I measured it, it was 48 inches. I feel like it's since surpassed that since I did that video. That's how big I think it is. It's certainly not anything you can eat for months now. Obviously, it's probably bitter as hell. But like, look at this stalk. Look at that. Like, here's my hand. It's huge. Got a ton of posts here. They always have to be rearranged because of the weight of it. But I'm really excited to harvest some seeds from that. That will be really cool. Then we've got our asparagus, which is also continuing to just like put on new little asparaguses left and right. Very excited about that. We're just letting it ride, because that's what you got to do for the first couple of years. So we're letting it ride. But we do have some, oh man, sorry. It's like I lost my steam from earlier. I apologize, guys. Cilantro. And also some, I think this is dill. If not dill, it's like a fern parsley of some kind. But we put cilantro out here. I'm hoping to harvest some soon, just to ensure that it doesn't bolt, because we all know how it likes to bolt. But it's actually doing pretty good in this little shaded nook, which was kind of what I was going for, was to give that a shot. See what happens if I put it in a slightly more shaded area. Do I get a little bit more longevity out of it? And so far it's looking like that's the case. On the inside of this bed, which you can't see, I can barely see it, we had some Filderkraut cabbage, which honestly, I just think we're just letting it do its thing. We don't have any expectations at this point. It's probably mangled by bugs, shaded out by the mustard, but it's there. It's there. It's growing. We just don't know what that's going to be like once we harvest all the mustard. We also have some onions in there. Again, I think that they're probably really shaded out and probably not getting to size similar to what we have going on in our pepper bed. And guys, can we just take a moment This was one of the best things we have ever added to our garden space. The Moongate, I mean, I can't say enough about that, but putting this wildflower patch on the outside is just absolutely dreamy. I really think it kind of cools the space down as well. And what's beautiful is it's not just on like the outside, it also makes its presence on the inside here, where you can get access to all these different colors and flowers and you name it. And look, you even got a little teddy bear poking out on this side, and you got a little Winston over there. I'm telling you, those teddy bears are just absolutely gorgeous. And then we've got this big behemoth, which I thought I couldn't touch it before. Now it's just like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. I couldn't even jump to the top if I wanted. So beyond the things that we have seen fail and the seed saving that we've been doing, I will show you one other thing, because I mean, we had some failures, but we also had some new successes, like the tomatillos, like the chamomile. So it's kind of like a win-win, you know, like you kind of get one fails, another thing goes wood. I already kind of talked about all that. But here's one thing that is turning the corner. It's turning the corner. And that is our sweet potatoes. So as of the past couple, it's really shot off. And I don't know if it was all along, just like getting accustomed to the soil. It looks kind of yellowy over there. Let me see if I stand in the shadow. Anyway, but it's definitely putting on a whole lot more growth. So I don't know if it's just that it's gotten melded into the bed and it's doing better or what, but makes me happy. We use sweet potatoes for our dog's food. So that's kind of why they're kind of important to us. We grew 50 pounds last year. It was our first time ever growing. We got 50 pounds of sweet potatoes. I learned to can them. I learned how to sweeten them up by curing them. And we even froze some and we still eat them today. So we knew that was an important one to add, and we thought that we lost those, but I guess we didn't. So that's the beauty of gardening. You really never know what you're going to get. You never really know what you're doing right and wrong. It's kind of like a mystery. And even when you're doing everything right, you still have something that goes wrong. Or even when you're doing everything wrong, it still goes right. I don't know. It's that dance that I'm always talking about with Mother Nature. Like, you got to figure out your ebbs and your flows. You got to be okay to fail, and find the beauty in like appreciating, like, you know what, I failed, but I learned this, or whatever. I'm not going to get into it in this video, but I will say that I'm happy you're here. I'm happy you came back to check out another video. If you have any ideas that you'd like to see from our garden, whether that's projects we're doing, how we do something, what we struggle with, anything, let me know. Drop it in the comments below. Let me know what you guys might be interested in. I'm sure garden tours are fun, but I can also see how that can get kind of boring. So let me know. I will always try to come up with some good content for you guys, but that doesn't always mean that it's going to resonate with you specifically. So let me know. I am open. I am game. I am an open book. So at any rate, that's all I got for today. Again, thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed yourself. I'm going to get inside because it already feels like my phone is overheating again. But it was nice catching up. Bye, guys.